Hey Beta, are you going to MFF? Sometimes there are conventions in Seattle. Sometimes there's not. Hey, what is this? Upcoming worldwide furry convention schedule? Who sent this to me? What is this? Is that literally every furry convention that is happening? Fancons.com. That's kind of a neat place. Hold on. I want to show this to you guys. A small little thing that I found that someone sent me. This is every furry convention happening in the foreseeable future, when it's happening and where it's located. So like they have all of them for this year and next year. It's kind of neat. Someone just sent it to me. I don't know why. I don't know what this has to do with anything we're talking about. I just think it's neat. Because like I didn't know, what was it? Canference was happening. I don't know what Canference is, but people were talking about it happening this weekend, November 12th to 14th in Canada. But they got a bunch of other ones like A&W. I'm gonna be at that. So MFF is happening, Furcon is happening. Then we get to 2022 where the next set of conventions are happening. But yeah, this is just sort of like a little list that I guess is updated annually of like the different furry conventions happening on a year-by-year basis. And I think it's only the conventions that have been confirmed as well. So like this is canceled, this will likely be canceled, and then you go through each and every one. It's pretty neat. Exactly. I'm going to keep this pinned for when I know when conventions are happening during the year. It's also a pretty good resource, just in general, you know. If you want to remember when conventions are happening and what conventions might be happening in your area, then this is a good resource. So now I know when Denver is happening next year. Dicks! And I know when I'm going to be getting Dick next year. Convention. How do I know when there are furry conventions in my area? I want to go to a furry convention, but I don't know where one's located in Florida. First off, why are you in Florida? That's your problem. Second, here's an actual resource you can use. But seriously, this is actually really useful for those that want to know when a convention is happening or conventions happening in their area. Or I guess like what's scheduled for the foreseeable future if you don't use Twitter. That's pretty much it. If you don't use Twitter and you aren't on the up and up with furry convention, then this is your next bet. This is your next best bet. Oh, it adds a little description to the cons and the Twitter of the actual convention? Okay. So this is like a pretty good archive for like different conventions happening. Previous events, one that was canceled and the one next year. Okay. This is pretty cool. This is a great resource. Hold on, I gotta switch screens. I gotta change where my thing's located. There we go. So you can read this a bit better now. So for example, with Anther Northwest, it shows where it's located, what the sort of mission of the furry convention is. Oh, well, it doesn't really show you where you can register, but it does show you the rate of how much it is to register. That's pretty fucking cool. So the website, I take it, is more of a fan geek convention wiki. When conventions are happening, which conventions are happening, I don't know. You can actually look this up now, and I just use like a, what is it? I hit F3 and hit search. So for example, Boston. There's only one convention in Boston. This is really fucking cool. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think something like this existed. That someone would keep track of all the furry conventions happening throughout the years and in the future, and when they are and where they are. Oh, okay, so you can look up literally any sort of geek nerd convention. Furry blacklight? The one thing you never do is bring blacklights to a furry room at a furry convention, okay? You never do that. You never do that. Never bring a blacklight to a furry convention. Oh, so if you go to schedule on conventions, it'll show you all upcoming worldwide conventions. However, if you want it narrowed down, you click the furry tab for the type of convention there is, and then you get every convention in the foreseeable future. That's pretty fucking cool. So, like, how do you describe one of these things? Like what is FanCon? Is it like an archive? Is it an updated sort of site of all the sort of geek conventions there are in the world? Like, what do you call this? What's the right word for this? Blacklights are like the breathalyzers of objects? I mean, you're gonna need both of those, a breathalyzer and a blacklight, when you encounter a furry at a convention. I'm assuming it's just some sort of updated archive for, like, all the geek and nerd conventions that have happened in the world ever, and it continues to update it based on what conventions are going to be happening in the foreseeable future. A website with a schedule. Okay, so that's a bit better in hindsight. Because I'm going to be honest, like, I thought I'd have to do a bit of digging to find something like this. Even, like, that's also weird to see, like, this whole convention site also includes furry conventions, which if I know anything about furries is that they're seen as, like, the outcast geek fandom in all of geek fandoms. ConnecticCon is not even a furry convention, but is on the list. Yeah, it's kind of weird. See, look, ConnecticCon's there. It's not even considered a furry convention, but it's there. You can get all the details on it. And you can go to the Twitter of the official convention page and the convention site if you wanted to. This is so fucking cool. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know a website like this existed. And I know I'm having my moment of like seeing like an ooh shiny thing and then being like so excited about it and then I forget about it like 2 days later. But this is really fucking cool. And this will pretty much answer like anyone's questions of like, when is the next furry convention in my area? When did this furry convention start? You literally just got to go to this page, FanCons, conventions, schedule, and then click furry. This is also really, really interesting to see because, again, from my experience with the furry fandom compared to the rest of geek culture, and we've talked about this before, it's seen as sort of like the outcast fandom, like the outcast hobby in geek culture that a lot of people don't like and see as fucking weird. Like the weebs. Anime conventions and comic book conventions don't like furries. They don't. Especially gamers too. Gaming conventions, they don't like furries. Not too many people on this list like furries at all. Is it because of taboo and insecurity and probably ignorance? Yeah, mainly ignorance. You know what this proves to me? It proves to me that furries aren't as taboo as they used to be 3 years ago. And it's funny because people act as if like furries are still like this big, awful, like shunned out thing that no one really knows about or like you need to properly inform people about. No, I feel like people know about them and it's just people are a bit more chill with them now. I don't know. I'm going on a weird tangent. Literally everything is on this website. I think that's really fucking cool. And I'm totally going to use this as a high YouTube moment, just saying, because the amount of people that ask me all sorts of questions about furry conventions is just, it's kind of insane. And I always say, just like, look it up. Look up furry conventions in your area. But every time someone does that, they don't really find anything. So I don't know. Let me actually check it. Hold on. Furry conventions in 2021. For example, let's do that. Oh, so Furry Cons actually comes up now. Wait, no. Wait, this is a different site. What the fuck? Oh, this is a different website, but same purpose. Wait, what the fuck? If you look up Furry Cons near me or Furry Cons in 2021, you'll find stuff here. People were telling me they weren't finding stuff, so they lied to me. People, no, seriously, like, people were telling me all the time in my sort of, like, furry things series, like, hey, I want to know when the next furry convention is or where it is near me. And I just say, look it up. And they say they can't find anything. But this is the first fucking thing you look up if it's like furry conventions in 2021. What about in Virginia? Who the fuck lives in Virginia? Let's look and see. It's all literally right here. Are you kidding me? So people are just lying to me and it just downright aren't even like searching it on Google. It's a simple Google search. The amount of times that I've been like, look it up and they're like, oh, but I can't find anything. You're just lazy at that point. I just did the work for you and it's easy to find. Go to FanCons or whatever the fucking other site was that I found. What was it? Furrycons.com. I mean, this one's clearly run by some furry who wants to give whatever information there is about furry conventions happening. So that's all here. This is here. This is run by a furry, but the other one, FanCons, I don't think this is run by a furry. I'm gonna be honest. And still, you got the answer to your question. When is the next furry convention happening? Look it up. Oh, wait, look. Hey, FanCons. Look. Whoa. You can use this website. Neat. This is sort of answering any question about furry conventions and when they are and where they are and what they are. Just look it up. Just go to this website. Go to FanCons. I mean, it's nice to know that stuff like this exists. I mean, it's especially nice that FanCon websites like this, like literally FanCons, are including furries in their demographic of convention to show that are scheduled when. Because this is not a furry convention site.
There's one in Seattle, but sometimes there's not.
Kingman, you were absolutely true about that. Sometimes there's a convention in Seattle and sometimes there's not. You know what? That might be my new answer to any time I'm asked, when is the next furry convention or where is the next furry convention? I'm going to answer that from now on. Sometimes there's one in Seattle Sometimes there's not. That is the best answer ever. And you know what? That is a correct answer. That is a correct answer to that question. Thank you for the insight on that. But seriously, I'm going to start using that answer from now on. Whenever someone asks about like furry convention stuff, like, hey, Beta, are you going to MFF? Sometimes there are conventions in Seattle. Sometimes there's not. And they'll answer the question of if I'm going to MFF or not. Sometimes there's one in Seattle. Sometimes there's not. Now I never have to properly answer if I'm going to XCon or YCon or ZCon. Insert furry convention name here. I don't even have to have what is it, a clip for it? Because that's what I have a lot of the times. Whenever someone's asking, like, which cons are you going to in 2021 or 2022 beta? I have, like, a section where I say which cons I'm going to, and then I clip it and leave it on Twitch, and then I have a command for that, for, like, cons. If someone wants to know the convention I'm going to, they look at the clip. But most people don't look at the clip because they want the answer then and there without clicking on anything. So, I now know how to answer. You are a genius. I'm just saying, Kingman, you're a genius. Thank you for the idea. And I also know that whenever you guys are saying, I don't know when the next furry convention is, and when I tell you to go and look it up, they're like, I'm not finding anything. At least I know now you're lying to me. Furrycons.com. I'm curious now. How is this different compared to Find furry conventions near you and keep track of the best furry cons around the world. Next furry conventions. Oh, so it's all easy and right there. I mean, with fan cons, it's more like, if you want any other convention, that's fine too. Does it give info on the convention? It does. It's literally the same exact thing as the other website. Something tells me there's some sort of code or algorithm that they use to automatically add in all this information instead of manually add it in. Something tells me there's something with their coding that they do, because this is the exact same thing as, you got this and this. It's the same exact thing. It's literally the same exact thing. At least it's all right there. What if I want to register now? What does it take me? Back to the same site. But wait, it does the same thing here. If I want to register now, it just takes me back to the same page. Something tells me the source code for these two sites is about the same. What's going on here? Get more cons. Wait a minute. Wait. We saw this picture on the other site. Hold on. What? What is this? Is this site ran by the same people? Oh, okay, well, found the answer to my question. Furry Cons is a site dedicated to listing all furry conventions around the world. It is built on top of a platform pioneered by AnimeCons.com. Okay, well, I thought it was about to get into some deep, dark shit, but no, it's literally just a reference to FanCon. So yeah, if you want more of a simplified version of FanCons, which can be big and complicated because maybe you don't care about the weebs or films, only care about furry conventions, well, here you go. Here's everything. Use this website. If you say you can't find the website, that is on you. But still, this is your go-to website if you want to know anything. Furrycons.com. Don't ask me when the next furry convention is. The answer will be that one will happen in Seattle, and sometimes it won't. You're not going to get an actual answer out of me. So hey, that's your furry things video. When did I last do a furry things? That's my question. Yeah, we're going full screen for this. Hold on. Furry things. When did I last do a furry things video? I did my last furry things video in late June. So it's been about 4 or 5 months or so since I last did a furry things video. Kind of crazy. I mean, this isn't really a furry things. This is like impromptu, but also like answering a question for the sake of it. So, you know. So now you know. If you want to look up when your next furry convention is happening, go to, I don't know, just look it up. There's actually a point to be made about just most of the questions that I get in general about furry stuff is just like, when is this happening? How do I do this with furry conventions? Like, a lot of it can be looked up. I'm not the only one that's done furry information, you know? Like, I'm not the only one that's done videos on furry stuff. I don't have to answer every single question. You can always just look it up on Google. Or like Wikipedia. Well, Wikipedia also works pretty well, even though you should never use it for research stuff.